So let's talk about the other atypical antidepressants. So the first atypical antidepressant, really the popular one, is the Wellbutrin. Now, here are some other ones that you might give, but I mean, guys, they really affect the same neurotransmitters. And guys, it's not as simple as a cardiac medication. And you probably hate like pharmacology. And you're probably like, I hate these videos. Actually, I love these videos. Or you're maybe hating me right now because you don't get it. Really, you're never going to solidify all the chemical reactions in the entire body. It's really not going to happen unless you're a pharmacy major or unless you go to pharmacy school. So even then, you might become a biochemical major in terms of biochemistry, and then probably master it. But guys, we're nurses, really. We have to know so much. The biggest thing is we know our nursing considerations. We know a little bit about the mechanism of action, and we know about the drug. So let's get into what we need to know. First, drugs here. You guys can write these down. The really frustrating part about these guys is they end in different things. Now you're probably saying like, oh, this one ends in ein. They can end in ein. But guess what? SSRIs also end in ein. It's like, dang. These are not SSRIs. These are atypical antidepressants. Just like in the same family as we find Wellbutrin. Okay? SSRIs are in a whole different family, as well as TCAs and MAOIs, okay? So we're really doing a lot of the same stuff here. We are affecting the same neurotransmitters. So we're either doing one of two things, affecting norepinephrine or affecting serotonin. So with serotonin or norepinephrine, in Cymbalta, we are stopping the reuptake of serotonin or norepinephrine. And we're basically stopping that telephone game. So we're slowing down the connection. So with our serotonin from that first patho lecture you guys saw, you should have out your little note card that shows you your little cheat sheet for serotonin. You can also pull out your little cheat sheet for norepinephrine. And if you guys have no clue what I'm talking about, that means you didn't see the first patho video. So go back to the first lecture in the introduction and watch the patho, because this is not going to make sense. So serotonin is our sleep, emotion, and remembering. And also norepinephrine is that cognitive health, also known as your levophed, increasing blood pressure. Okay. You can also increase the release of serotonin and norepinephrine to take them out of the to take them out of the neurons itself and put them more in the synapse. We're just trying to get it out of the neurons, okay? So I know this is kind of confusing, but really just hone in on your neurotransmitters. Next is your selectively inhibiting your norepinephrine reuptake, and this is your Edronax. Now we're selectively inhibiting norepi. And if you guys have your cheat sheet and you wrote it down, you know that inhibiting norepi will inhibit blood pressure. Now serotonin, on the other hand, if we are blocking the serotonin receptors, we are basically blocking the ability to sleep, the ability to have emotion, as well as the ability to recall things, because it's SER, sleep, emotion, remembering. And if you guys don't know what this is, go back to the first video, write your little cheat sheet out. So our nursing considerations are based primarily off of the neurotransmitters, serotonin or norepinephrine effects. These are similar to SSRIs. Our atypical antidepressants are very similar to SSRIs. The really big difference is they have less sexual dysfunction. So with your SSRIs, you can be sex dysfunction. The biggest thing is that what really gets people off SSRIs is the sex dysfunction. So this may be, Cymbalta may help. Now, Cymbalta may be a possible option if someone has SSRI sex dysfunction. So, a side effect from blocking one that has norepinephrine, let's say for Cymbalta, or for Remeron, or for Edronax, and pretty much everyone except Destrel. Destrel, where you at? You're going to have a decreased blood pressure because we are limiting the communication of norepinephrine that brings blood pressure up. So decreasing blood pressure, the book will tell you it's more on the diastolic. And if you guys hate cardio, I was a cardio teacher for 4 years for EKG for paramedics, but decreasing blood pressure, very simple. It's decreasing your diastolic, the relax, the decompress of your vessels, okay? So your heart and your vessel linings are relaxing because of that adrenergic response. Fancy words for we're just blocking the norepi. That's really all we're doing. Anticholinergic effects are the next thing because we are turning on the sympathetic nervous system. So we have not only a decreased blood pressure, we have sedative effects as well from the serotonin I forgot to tell you guys about. We also have these anticholinergic effects. So you're going to get a dry and high. We're going to do this here. You're going to get dry and high. We're going to have a dry mouth. So tell your patient to drink a lot of water. Chew some gum if your mouth is dry, right? A dry GI, so constipation is going to happen. Your patient needs more water. It doesn't mean that they need more fiber. They need more water to help lube up those GI tracts here. And your patient might have blurred vision because we know that the eyes are very moist and they have lubricant. So your patient might have photosensitivity going out into the sun. Now you're going to have a high as well because we're really in anticholinergics, we're turning off the parasympathetic, rest and digest, and turning on the sympathetic, the fight and flight. And if you guys are like, I have no clue what you're talking about, man, look at the first lecture and then you know. So high means that we're turning on the heart. So high heart rate, bigger anxiety, and sleep disturbances. So whoop, there's big eyes right there. It looks like Stewie Griffin. Stewie Griffin. Okay. The last thing is that it's a CNS depressant. That's one of the last things that our antidepressants do. Because just like Wellbutrin, just like really all the other antidepressants, we are blocking either norepinephrine or serotonin in these atypicals, and we are causing your central nervous system, your brain, to be a little depressed. So we need to teach your patients, especially if it's a depressant, to be very safe. Because we know that the serotonin, as well as the norepi, is causing that sedative effect, causing less neurotransmitters to be exchanged, less communication in the brain. So that means less coordination. And if you guys have your cheat sheet, you know exactly what I'm talking about. SER for serotonin. Your patient's going to have less sleep, less emotion, and less memory. For nursing interventions and patient education, we're telling your patient not to operate heavy machinery, not to be lifting stuff heavy, just stay safe, Fancy words for don't drive a car, don't drive a forklift. Don't do anything that you might feel sedated and hurt other people or yourself. So that is the biggest thing for your atypical antidepressants. I know it's a lot of information, I know. And I know you're not going to be able to grasp all of it right now. But guys, again, it's a speedboat. Nursing school is a speedboat. As long as we understand the general overview concept of what we need to know, it's mainly the patho, because the patho and the mechanism of action is really going to tell us what the side effects are. If we know the side effects and we know how the patient is supposed to respond, we'll be able to teach the patient. And it really all leads back to the stem of pathophysiology. So thanks guys so much. Let's go on into the next lecture here.